Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Naruto was heir of White Light Dragon. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Things were not going well for one Naruto Uzumaki. Well, actually, on one's birthday, you'd think they would be as happy as can be. This was not for Naruto. Naruto's birthday was the same day the Kyuubi no Kitsune was defeated by the fourth Hokage and supposedly killed. The older generation knew that the Kyuubi was sealed into Naruto, who was currently running from a mob of about 40 villagers wielding everything from kitchen knives to hammers. Today you die, demon scum. Get back here and take your punishment, hell spawn. You'll pay for killing the fourth Hokage. Yes, these were the verbal threats Naruto had to deal with day in and day out. The worst thing was that Naruto didn't understand was why these people did this to him on a daily basis. Naruto was tired since he had been running for 4 hours straight. He ran into a back alley hoping to avoid the mob, but it only turned out to a dead end. That's when Naruto was beaten for 3 hours. After the beating, our blonde hero was barely clinging to his life and blacked out. In Naruto's mind, Naruto AWO in a dark, damp sewer-like area that had pipes running from a certain point. Naruto got up and followed the pipes, hoping to find a way out. As he continued further into the sewer-like structure, he started to hear voices that sounded like they were arguing. The closer Naruto moved to the source, the louder the voices became. Eventually Naruto found himself in a large room. Two giant creatures stood before him. One was a sky-blue dragon with piercing sapphire eyes. The other was a fox with red slitted eyes that was confined in a large bronze cage with a paper in the middle that had the kanji for seal. They hadn't noticed Naruto had arrived, so they kept on fighting. "This is your fault, you know," the dragon yelled at the fox. "Like I care," the fox replied. "You should care, you're the reason Naruto is constantly seen as the demon and beaten." The dragon retorted with tears in its eyes. "Ha! The only reason they beat him is because they're ignorant and too stupid to realize if the brat was a demon he would have killed them all by now," said the fox, finding it quite humorous. Naruto had been listening the whole time and decided to voice his 2 cents. "Who are you two and how do I get out of here?" the blonde demon container asked. The dragon and fox turned their heads in the direction of the voice, both with different expressions. The dragon had an expression of surprise and happiness, laced with a little bit of worry. The fox had a big mischievous grin and was already planning ways he could use the boy. "Hello boy, could you come here?" The way the fox said it was bittersweet. "Don't you talk to him." The dragon scowled. "Go screw yourself, you lizard." The fox replied, angry that the dragon could cost him his chance of escape. "His life is already messed up without you interfering. Come Naruto, there is something you need to see," and with that the dragon and Naruto walked away, leaving a very angry Kyuubi behind. "Hey, I'm talking to you, brat. Get back here," the demon roared. "Don't mind him," the dragon spoke. "You still haven't answered my questions. I already know who the fuzzball is, but who are you?" Naruto asked. The dragon was surprised at how Naruto knew who the Kyuubi was, but went along with it and told him who she was and why she was there. The dragon decided to change her appearance to help explain things. There was a flash of light, and where the dragon once stood, now stood a girl with snow-white hair and piercing sapphire eyes, wearing a blue kimono that looked to be in her early teens. "My name is Kasara and I am your spirit guide, and where we are is your mind," the dragon explained. "Okay. Do you know who my parents are?" Naruto asked. "Indeed," the dragon answered. "They were Arashi Kazama and Shizuno Uzumaki, the Yellow Flash and Dragon Tempest of the Hidden Leaf Village," the dragon explained. "Before you were born, your mother sealed me away in you so she would know you would always be safe," the dragon explained with a tone of pride. Naruto was feeling a lot of emotions at the moment. They consisted of happiness, anger, confusion, and finally resolve towards the anger. "Kasara." "Yes Naruto. What was my mother like?" Sarutobi Atsuma had been having a good day. He had gotten the enemy of all cages defeated. "Who is this enemy, you ask?" "Why, it's paperwork." Sarutobi had decided to take a walk around the village, for some fresh air. While out on his walk he decided to visit our favorite ramen addict. Sarutobi was only a few steps away from Naruto's apartment when he started to smell blood. Sarutobi suddenly feared for the woe. RSE and darted to where the smell was originating. Sarutobi looked at Naruto like a grandson, despite the fact that Konohamaru was already his grandson, but that was another story. As the third Hokage, he had tried to help Naruto out plenty of times, but the council forbid it. Sarutobi had finally found Naruto and saw the boy was barely clinging to his life. What puzzled the old man more was the boy was covered in pure white chakra. The chakra seemed to be healing him. Sarutobi immediately thought this chakra had something to do with the fox inside Naruto, but this white chakra had a calming, yet strong aura to it. Sarutobi rushed Naruto to the hospital as fast as he could. However, when he got there, the doctors took one look at the boy and scowled in disgust. Sarutobi reminded himself to tell Ibiki and Anko that they could have some fun later with some doctors that deserved it. After 2 hours of waiting, a doctor who actually saw what Naruto was immediately rushed him into a room and began examining him for any life-threatening signs. To the doctors and the third Hokage's surprise, Naruto was actually fine aside from chakra exhaustion. Sarutobi thanked Kami that Naruto was alright, but couldn't help wonder where that white chakra came from. In Naruto's mind, Naruto and Kasara had been talking for what seemed like hours, but really it was only a few seconds in the real world. Naruto was blown away that his father was the fourth Hokage. He wanted to ask Kasara what he was like, but figured that since she served his mother he would get more answers about his mother than his father. Naruto had found out his mother was a kind and gentle person, yet was a fierce warrior when she needed to be. It turned out Shizuno Uzumaki was actually a dragon priestess. Dragon prize. Tea and priestesses could tap into a special chakra that flowed through dragons. The chakra that flowed through the blue eyes white dragon was called white lightning. Wow, I can't believe it, for once. But I'm just so happy that I found out who my parents are, thank you Kasara-ni-chan. After Naruto said this, he pulled Kasara into a hug. As soon as Naruto had called her Ni-chan, her heart had become heavy. And the dragon woman returned the hug full force. Gag me with a kunai. The Kyuubi mocked, trying to ruin the moment, but to no avail. The two stayed in their embrace. Seeing this reminded Kyuubi of what it once was like to be snuggled up to the one you care about the most. He remembered at night when he would bring home large amounts of meat for his mate and his litter of kits. After they had eaten their fill, they would all curl up together and fall off into a good dream-filled slumber. The Kyuubi was considering that perhaps he should help the boy in life as a ninja. Emphasis on considering. After all, he hasn't made a good impression thus far, and that dragon wouldn't help things along either. The fox would have to really give this a lot of thought, considering his living predicament. That's all he could do. Back with Naruto and Kasara. Naruto and Kasara were still hugging when Kasara sensed something. Naruto, it's time for you to go. The dragon spoke. Go where? Naruto asked. To the real world. One of your precious people is worried about you. Okay. Bye Kasara-ni-chan, Kyuubi-tem. He's going to grow into a great man and an even better ninja. Yes, and this will happen if we both start training him early. I don't trust you, Fox, but what did you have in mind? Disclaimer. I don't own Naruto or the Blue Eyes White Dragon's legal rights. First, let me say thank you to all who sent your reviews. Also, the poll for who will be in the harem is still going. So far Hinata is in the lead with 1 vote while everyone else has 0. Also, another poll will be put up. Naruto will be given a weapon to focus white lightning through. The choices are a staff or a sword. On with the story. Sarutobi sat at Naruto's bedside, eagerly waiting for the blonde to awaken. Sarutobi thought back to all the times he wanted to help the boy, but couldn't because the council said, and I quote, helping the demon brat is a sign of treason against the village. Unquote. God, how he wanted to summon Enma that day and go on a rampage on the council's ass. As Sarutobi continued his inner rant, he noticed Naruto stirred and opened his eyes. Hey old man, Naruto replied with a small grin. Naruto, thank goodness you're alright. Sarutobi said with concern. Hokage-sama, Naruto out of characterly asked. Yes Naruto. The Hokage knew if Naruto called him that the blonde must desperately want something. Could I become a ninja? From that day on Naruto trained to the point of exhaustion. His trainers consisted of both Kasara and the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi taught Naruto chakra control, From walking up trees to walking on water. The Kyuubi also put demonic chakra weights on Naruto's wrists and ankles to improve his stamina. Kasara worked with Naruto on his hand sign speed. After 3 days of practicing his hand signs, Naruto could do them all in under 40 seconds. Kasara taught Naruto the shadow clone jutsu. Not only would the blonde have a powerful clone technique under his belt, but also the A-ranked clone technique would help speed up his training. Basically any knowledge the clones gained would be fed back to the original after they were destroyed or dispelled. His is what the first 4 months of his training consisted. To help train all day long, Naruto put an over-chakra stuffed shadow clone in Iruka's class, so he could train all day. For exercise he ran all the way around Konoha's walls 5 times. Not an easy feat since he had to hide whenever ninja were on patrol and deal with the heavy weights that weighed exactly 45 pounds each and only got heavier from that point on. Naruto had continued his training like this all the way up to one day before graduating the academy. Current time 7:30 in the morning Monday. Naruto woke from his slumber physically refreshed, but was mentally tired. All night Kasara had been teaching him a dragon style of taijutsu. Naruto got up and did his usual morning rituals. Naruto got dressed and wore something other than that horrid orange jumpsuit. Naruto did like orange, but the ugliness the suit gave off literally made him sick and it just screamed, "Here I am, kill me." Naruto walked out wearing a black short sleeve shirt that had the Uzumaki swirl on it and a jade dragon that circled it protectively. Naruto also wore blood red pants and a pair of shinobi sandals that were black. Naruto also wore a dark green Edel Kong Ming cap on his head and a pair of dark orange sunglasses. Surprisingly, Naruto made this fashion choice on his own. After putting up with the glares and the beatings, Naruto changed his wardrobe completely so people wouldn't notice him. After Naruto got dressed, he grabbed an apple and headed out the door, but remembered to lock the door. Kasara also berated Naruto on how he needed a NCED diet and almost crushed his ramen obsession completely. She also told him eating ramen all the time would lead to him being a midget. Streets of Konoha 754. As Naruto made his way through Konoha to the academy, he couldn't feel weird not being glared at. As he walked, he enjoyed the surprised looks the older generation gave him, while the younger generation, mostly girls, had hearts in their yes, while the guys looked on in recognition at his fashion choices. Amazing what a change in wardrobe can do. I'll admit, kid, you did make a good choice in clothing. The Kyuubi spoke to him. In the Kyuubi grew to like the boy and started treating him like a son. While it was true the Kyuubi wasn't fond of humans, he did like the ones he respected. Naruto happened to be one of those people. "Naruto, you better hurry to get to the academy on time," Kasara piped in. While Kasara was his spirit guide, Naruto treated her like a big sister. Naruto had actually made it to the academy early. Naruto walked through the halls and made it to his classroom and took a seat up in the back row. Iruka walked into the classroom and noticed someone he didn't recognize was sitting at a desk in the back top row. "Excuse me, young man, can I help you?" Iruka asked Naruto, not realizing who he was. "Iruka-sensei, it's me," Naruto retorted. Iruka did a double take at the boy he thought of as a son and didn't believe it. "Wow, Naruto, why the sudden change in clothes?" Iruka asked. "Just felt like something different," Naruto answered. "Well, I will admit it is a big improvement. Sakura will be all over you." Iruka joked around with the boy, knowing how he worshipped the girl. "Actually, Iruka-sensei, I've actually decided to give up on Sakura," Naruto retorted. Iruka was very surprised by this. He was starting to wonder if this really was Naruto. "Why the sudden disinterest in Sakura?" Iruka asked his son figure. "Well, it's obvious Sakura is one of Sasuke's fangirls and won't date me, so why go after something that someone else already has?" Naruto asked. Iruka was shocked at the level of sense the boy was showing, and started to wonder if perhaps Naruto being an idiot was all an act. "Well, Naruto, if you're not going after Sakura, then who then? I was thinking perhaps Hinata. I mean, she's not one of Sasuke's fangirls and we're already friends," Naruto answered. Iruka sat in his classroom waiting for his students to show up. To say he was shocked was an understatement, when he saw Naruto early and dressed in dark clothes and not his jumpsuit. Iruka was even more shocked when Naruto said he gave up on Sakura. And thought of asking out Hinata instead. "Oi, Naruto, why are you here so early?" The scarred Chunin asked. "Isn't it good to be on time, Iruka-sensei?" Naruto retorted. "Yes it is, but it just seems out of character for you." "Well, I decided for a change of character," Naruto said childishly with a pout. Even with the serious clothes he's still Naruto. Iruka thought to himself. "Hey Iruka-sensei, wake me when class starts." As soon as Naruto finished the last of his sentence, unconsciousness took him and he was fast asleep, but really he dived into his mind to talk to Kasara and the Kyuubi. In Naruto's mind, "Hey Kasara-ni-chan, Kyuubi-sama." Naruto shouted happily to the two tenants. After the training started, Naruto started showing more respect to the fox demon. "Hello kid, what brings you to this empty desolate place?" The Kyuubi spoke, trying to get a rise out of Naruto by calling his mind empty, also wondering why Naruto came, since there was no reason for him to. "Very funny Kyuubi-sama. I was actually thinking of changing my mindscape to a different environment for you and Kasara-ni-chan, speaking of which, where is she anyway?" Naruto asked Sin. He didn't see his dragon of a big sister anywhere. "She's asleep down in the first corridor on the left," the Kyuubi answered. Naruto walked down the hall, got to the first corridor, and couldn't believe what he saw. Kasara was in her human form, with her dragon wings and tail showing. Basically, she looked like a dragon-human hybrid. She was laying with her belly facing down, and using her wings like a blanket. Naruto crept quietly up to his sleeping big sister and started to scratch the top side of her wings. Kasara stirred in her sleep, but then moaned, "Out, that's nice, to scratch." Kisra the N turned herself over and asked in her sleep, "Scratch my stomach, please." Naruto obliged, but got a reaction he didn't expect. As soon as his fingers made contact with her stomach, she let out a loud moan. Jumped up and grabbed him and pulled him down to where his head was resting between both of her human form boobs, and this all happened while she was asleep. Naruto realized where his head was. And his face became extremely red and hot. The warmth, Kasara only liked and tightened her grip on him. Naruto's nose started to bleed a little bit, and he realized he had to get out of this. Slowly he reached his hand toward her left side and started to tickle her side with his fingertips. Kasara started to giggle in her sleep, and her grip loosened to the point where he could slide himself out. As soon as he was out, he left his mind and decided to speak with both of his tenants later. In the real world, Naruto woke up just in time as students started to pour into the room. A lot of the students immediately saw Naruto's outfit change and didn't recognize him. Sasuke noticed and wasn't happy, granted he didn't recognize Naruto. In the young emo Avenger's mind, this is what he was thinking. How dare this person dress so much cooler than me? I'm the one who lost my family to my psycho of a brother. I deserve the attention, not him. Sasuke thought. Sasuke started thinking of plans to deal with this person when he remembered his hordes of fangirls he had to shoo away constantly. He looked around and surprisingly, the only one that was bothering him was Sakura. This surprised the OP wheel user greatly until he realized that all of his other fangirls were fawning over the new guy that no one knew was Naruto. Nope, not even Shikamaru knew. Naruto's point of view, Naruto just sat in his seat, waiting for class to start. Hinata was sitting beside him, a smile on her face that she was sitting next to her friend Naruto. Iruka and Mizuki were now beginning the genin exams. Iruka called Naruto up first. Mizuki was about to interrupt, when he saw someone he didn't recognize walk down the row and up to the front to begin. Naruto sat at his desk, happy that he had passed his genin exam and was now a genin. Hinata sat next to him, equally happy that her crush had passed and she had too, hoping they would get on the same team. Across the room, Sasuke was fuming that the person he didn't know was Naruto all along. When did the Dobi get so good, and where did he get that type of clothing, the Uchiha thought. Sak-kun, since we both passed, would you like to go out with me? Sakura asked, coming out of nowhere. Don't try your luck, Sakura, that emo tem isn't into romance. Naruto yelled across the room, making it go deathly quiet. Sakura turned to slug Naruto in the head for saying that. But before her punch connected, she felt a hand wrapped around her throat. "Don't you dare touch Naruto-kun," the voice spoke that originated from a blue-haired Hyuga Hirus. Everyone was surprised. Hinata, the usual shy girl, had not only asserted herself, but also had Sakura in a chokehold suffocating her. Naruto smiled at the sight. Glad he didn't have to deal with that pepto-bismol hair-colored harpy. "You won't touch him while I'm around, you hear me?" Hinata spoke in a threatening manner while not noticing she was letting off a small amount of killing intent. Sakura nodded meekly, and Hinata dropped Sakura on her butt, walked back to her friend Naruto. "Good work, Hina-chan," Naruto spoke as he gave her a small kiss on the cheek that caused her face to turn crimson. Everyone else just stood there wide-eyed in surprise. Iruka was the first to recover and gave a loud cough to get the room back into order. "All right, those that passed, come tomorrow to be assigned into teams, those that didn't, you suck." Iruka spoke before everyone hightailed it out of there before Iruka could give his "congrats you guys passed" speech. "Ungrateful little imps," Iruka muttered BEF. Or he sat back down to grade more papers. Naruto was currently walking to his apartment after walking Hinata home, when Kasara decided to speak to him. "Naruto, it is time," the dragon boomed in his head. "Time for what?" Naruto asked. "The Dragon Council wishes to speak with you," Kasara said as Naruto was pulled from his own dimension into the realm of dragons. Naruto felt his body course with energy as he was taken and now stood in a large colosseum filled with thousands of dragons. The colosseum itself was made of silver marble and glistened under the red sun of the dragon realm. As Naruto looked around, he saw that Kasara was also with him. Kasara was bowing in her human form as she looked up. Naruto followed her gaze to where she was looking and saw a dragon that really freaked him out. It was as big as the arena itself. It had a tan-colored body and 5 heads. For those that don't know, think of the 5-God Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh card. Each head was different. The first was made of fire. The one after that was dark and demonic looking. The next one looked like it suited the tan body and had a series of spikes jutting out of the back of its head. The next head was made of water. The final head was made of metal and had green lifeless eyes. "Kasara, it is good to see you again, and I see you brought the last dragon priest," the large 5-headed dragon explained. "That can't be Shizuno's heir. He too short and dopey looking," a little orange dragon yelled before being whacked over the head by an older brown dragon for his outburst. This however caused an argument among the dragons in the stands of whether or not he was related to Shizuno. "Silence," the giant 5-headed dragon roared, silencing the others in an instant. "There is a test to see if he really is a dragon priest, Kasara. Blast him with your white lightning," the dragon god commanded. "But 5-God Sama, even if he does survive, Naruto-kun could be mortally wounded," Kasara pleaded. "Kasara just made a mistake. Kasara, you refer to this human as if he were your mate. Do as I say or I will blast him myself," the 5-headed dragon raged in fury. Kasara felt tears welling up in her eyes when she felt a hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry, Kasara-chan, I trust you," Naruto said with a real smile. "Thank you, Naruto-kun," Kasara said as she shifted to her full dragon form, arched her head back, gathering energy in her mouth, and fired. Naruto stood there as the blast of white lightning made its way to him and connected. Every dragon stood from their seats, wide-eyed as Naruto took the blast head on and was engulfed in white-hot flames. The 5-headed dragon smiled. "I was right, Chaos Emperor, you owe me 2,000 yen, the 5-headed dragon roared laughingly as a large green and gold dragon started digging through a bag around his neck to pay. Then a loud yell came from the flames. "WTF, you took a bet on whether I would survive or not," yelled Naruto, whose body was covered in white flames. "Yeah, you survived and I got paid. What's the problem?" the 5-headed dragon asked. "Also you will have to start a harem," the 5-headed dragon spoke really fast. It took Naruto a few minutes to realize what the dragon said. His eyes bugged out of his head and he yelled, "Say what?" Naruto stood in the stadium, literally speechless. He was planning on starting a relationship with Hinata, but the harem announcement really screwed up his plan. You see, Hinata was, even though she was quiet and shy, still very territorial, and got pissed if someone else wanted Naruto. Naruto thought of something that he thought might work. "But 5-God Sama, I'm a priest," I thought I wasn't allowed to have intimate course with girls. Naruto spoke, playing the innocent idiot routine. At this the entire stadium erupted in laughter. The large five-headed dragon calmed himself before speaking. Child, a perverted monk named Moroku broke that law millennia ago. And you must start a harem so the dragon prize. Chi supply will grow and become long and everlasting. He explained. Naruto just stood there with a shocked, perplexed look on his face. The large Drato explained. You see Naruto, dragon priests act as peacekeepers of this realm and others. You, yourself are the last of the dragon priests and must accept this role all by yourself for now. Okay, I understand a little, but you said, this realm and others, what do you mean? Naruto asked, interested in this job he would be undertaking. This is going to take a while, you may all leave if you wish, the meeting is over. The large multi-headed dragon spoke to his subjects. At this the stadium emptied out, leaving only Kasara, Naruto, and the five-headed dragon. What he means, Naruto-kun, is this isn't the only realm you will be working with as you become a dragon priest. Kasara explained. Naruto just nodded his head in understanding and gestured for her to continue. You see, besides this realm there are the realm of fiends, the realm of beasts and beast warriors, insects, reptiles, zombies, dinosaurs, aqua, fish, sea serpents, fairies, warriors, thunder, winged beasts, rock, machines, plants, pyro and spellcaster-type monsters. Kasara explained. Naruto just stood there, not believing what he just heard. He had to act as a peacekeeper between all those realms. Yes, you see, soon you will have to travel to the realm of fiends, not now mind you, but soon. The five-headed dragon added in. Also, I have something for you, the five-headed dragon explained as Kasara left and came back carrying two cases. The first case was opened, revealing a single blue and golden hilt. That blade belonged to your mother. The five-head spoke. But it's just a hilt, what good is it? Naruto asked, wondering how this weapon worked. Naruto-kun, your mother didn't believe in using metal weapons, she preferred chakra-based weapons instead. Kasara explained. Yes, Kushina used a wind and water blade in her battles, and I was told if I ever met her child, I was to pass it on to them. Five-head explained. Naruto felt a knot form in his chest as he picked up the hilt. The very hilt his mother wielded. The weapon will change itself to match your elemental affinity. Try pushing some chakra into the sword and see. Five offered. I'm going to call him Five from now on. Naruto pushed some chakra into it and watched as a blade of solidifed wind came out of the hilt. Mixed in the wind katana were small amounts of light. What about the other case? Naruto asked as he dispelled the sword and put it away. In that case is a spicale type of liquid metal. That will form a weapon once it has fused with some of your chakra. Five explained. Does it matter what type of chakra I use? Naruto asked, as he was up for some experimentation. I don't see why not, Five replied. Naruto pushed some of the Kyuubi's chakra into it and watched as the metal took the shape of a hooked sword. Doesn't look special. Naruto spoke as he swung the blade back and forth, then suddenly, the sword broke apart and revealed a chain running through the blade, and the blade moved on its own. Think Ivy's sword from Soul Calibur. Ah, a chain sword. Naruto-kun. Try using some of my chakra, Kasara spoke. Naruto obliged and the sword changed into a long staff-like spade. The spade had a fan-like blade on top, while a hammer-like weight was on the bottom. Interesting. Also, the last gift your mother left you is a scroll that contained information on a jutsu only your mother could use. It was called the yin-yang inspiration jutsu. Five mused. This jutsu is very unstable. You should have shadow clones practice it before attempting it yourself. Kasara explained. Well, your meeting here is over. I will send you back to your own world and call on you again when the time comes. Five explained as he breathed green fire on Naruto and Kasara, sending them back to their own world. However, in the shadows a dragon with black scales and red eyes had on a deep scowl at the news he just heard. I must report this to the Dark Four. He spoke as he took off, flying toward the realm of fiends. The realm of fiends was a dark, dank, evil world. The place was always in eternal night, and a large golden moon shined down, illuminating the world of fiends. Even though the realm was filled with demons, specters and creatures that could only be dreamed by Kami knows who. The place was relatively peaceful. The world was separated into 3 districts and ruled over by a republic consisting of 3 members elected by Fiend minorities. The first and most powerful of the 3 was Dark Ruler Hokage. He ruled over the orcs, goblins and other fiends who weren't part of a major minority. In his left hand was always a glass of red liquid. He swore it was the blood of his enemies. But really it was red wine. In short, he had a drinking problem. He usually mixed the wine with water to keep himself from getting too drunk, but whenever he recalled back to the realm wars that occurred millennia ago, he hit the bottle full force. That was one of his most embarrassing losses he had ever faced. He had been defeated by a human and a female no less. Damn you cushion, and all the bastards and whores you spawn, he angrily thought as the scar over his left eye pulsed with pain. If you don't know what Hokage looks like, look up the card, the scar is my own addition. The second strongest of the 3 was Scare the Terror King Archfiend. He ruled over the Archfiend majority who controlled the taxes put on the realm of fiends. When it came to Archfiends, they loved to tax people out of their money. They had a strict 500 policy on whatever currency you had. Even if it was just bottle caps, you had to pay. In fact, there were rumors floating around about Scare having a large tub, which he filled with money and bathed in regularly. Then there was the third and weakest among the 3. Burn, the Mad King of Darkworld. The Dark World fiends actually were from another dimension and fled due to chaos in their own dimension. At first Hokage and Scare thought they could easily bully the weak Burn, however that was crushed when the 2 found out about the technological genius and military might he controlled. In short, he could wage war against the other 2 districts for a millennia and still have enough strength to keep going. Again, look up the card's eye. If you want to know what any monster in this story looks like. The 3 were currently waiting for their spy in the Dragon Realm to return and give them any useful information. As if on K, a black dragon with red eyes appeared before the 3. Report. Hokage barked as he sipped his wine. I am sorry to say, Hokage-sama, that a dragon priest lives. The dragon bowed its head in sorrow. Hokage lunged from his seat and grabbed the dragon by the neck, slamming him against the wall in anger. Who is the priest related to? Hokage asked as his usual purple eyes turned red from anger. He is the heir to Kushina Uswanki. The dragon choked out as he was dropped. The room went deathly quiet. Hokage's eyes gained an empty, far-away look at this. It was so quiet you could hear the heartbeats of everyone in the room. The silence was broken with a horrifying roar as Hokage raised his fist to strike the dragon in rage. The red eyes black dragon feared for the worst and quickly brought up a vital piece of information. The priest is still inexperienced. He could easily be killed. The dragon spoke quickly, waiting for the blow. The blow never came, though, as a horrible smile that only super villains could pull off appeared on Hokage's face. Hokage suddenly walked at a fast pace to the dungeon area of the castle all 3 resided in. Burn and Scare followed, interested in what was going through the older fiend's mind. What are you planning, Day? Scare asked as all 3 made their way to the part of the dungeon that held the fiends who had the power to combat the 3 districts of the realm of fiends. Don't tell me you're going to enlist the evil heroes. Burn piped in. Those fiends were once elemental and destiny heroes who had been tainted by darkness and gained unimaginable strength from it. No, if this priest is indeed related to Kushina, we will need to enlist someone who is even stronger. Hokage spoke as the evil heroes locked up, booed and cursed at Hokage who dared called them weak. Hokage soon stopped at a cell that was covered in a yellow aura designed to shock the inhabitant who was kept inside it. Currently he heard the screams of a female echoing inside. Hokage waved his hand and the aura dissipated and a thump was heard inside the cell. Hokage walked inside to see a female-like creature with 3 eyes on her head, laying on the ground in pain. Her eyes gave off a malignant, hate-filled stare. One was green and the other was orange, while the third eye on the middle of her forehead remained opened constantly. Her wings were tucked behind her back. The killer intent she radiated at Hokage went unnoticed as Hokage silenced it by reactivating the yellow shock aura for 3 minutes. She fell and screamed at the pain she felt. It's been a while. Yubel. Scene change. Naruto was wiped out and lying peacefully in his bed. He had been practicing the yin-yang separation jutsu well into the night and it was quite difficult. He had Shadow Clone-s practicing it for 4 hours straight and was quite disappointed. All the technique did was split the shadow clones in half. One clones however was dressed in all white, while the other clones was dressed in all black. When Naruto asked Kasara what the problem was, she told him that only an Uzumaki with real Uzumaki blood could perform it perfectly. He pushed and inquired what the technique did on Kasara, but she told him she couldn't tell him. Naruto pouted and just went home to get some sleep after dispelling the clones. Currently Naruto was waking you seeing as how it was morning, but the academy didn't start for another 3 hours, so he decided to sleep in. However, he noticed he felt like he was heavier in his bed for some reason. It felt like some thick sheets were wrapped around him. After sitting up, he saw that wrapped around his waist were some pale arms, and attached to those arms was Kasara. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," she spoke as she snuggled into his chest. On further inspection he noticed she was completely naked. Naruto's nose started to bleed a little. "Okay, why are you in my bed and not in my mind?" The young priest inquired. "Well, 5-sama thought it would be better if I was with you in the real world. So he unsealed me from your mind so I could be with you," she explained with sparkling innocent eyes and a voice that was just adorable. Naruto sighed and pointed to his closet. "Please put on some clothing, please." "Okay," she spoke as she got up and walked over to the closet, slowly allowing Naruto to get a nice view of her firm butt. "A little faster please." Naruto spoke, turning away so he wouldn't get a nosebleed. Kasara sighed as she got dressed in a black t-shirt and a pair of black shorts. "How am I going to explain this to Hinata?" he wondered in his mind. "I say you take both of them in a threesome," the Kyuubi spoke in his mind. "Be quiet, fox." Naruto spoke, not in the mood to show respect this early in the morning. Naruto got up and dressed. However, he remembered the cases given to him. He opened the case and tucked his mother's sheath into his pocket. The metal slime, however, was different. It jumped out of its case and wrapped itself around Naruto's right arm before taking the form of a bracer. Naruto just stared at it and thought it was cool. On closer inspection he noticed the slime had a will of its own and could move on its own accord. "Something tells me you will come in handy today," Naruto spoke to the slime on his arm, and strangely the slime rippled as if in appreciation. Scene change. Naruto walked at a good pace towards the academy. Today would ebb the day he was to be put in a 3-man Ninja squad under a sensei. He was hoping he would be paired with someone good and that he could get along with. If only he knew what fate had in store for him. Kasara had insisted on going with him. He said it would better for her if she stayed at his apartment until he got back. Academy. Alright, the teams are. Team 1 gonna just give the ones that matter. Team 7. Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. Iruka spoke as he went to call out the other teams. Naruto banged his head on the desk forcefully while Hinata cursed under her breath. They had wanted to be on the same team and this greatly disappointed them both. Sakura on the other hand was wailing like a banshee at how love conquered all. Ino just sat there not really caring anymore about the king of emos and the banshee that stalked him. The other team's senseis came and left, leaving Team 7 alone in the room. 3 hours later. Where the hell is this guy? Naruto yelled, fed up with waiting. Sasuke for once silently agreed with the blonde and was equally pissed but hid it well, like all emos do. Sakura didn't care and just kept staring at Sasuke with a look that screamed stalker and has no life. If you like Sakura then gain a tolerance for bashing. Finally the door opened and the three jumped in glee, only to fall in annoyance at the sight of a janitor. Then Kakashi walked in and saw his team on the floor. My first impression of you all is, the janitor could be a more capable ninja than all three of you. All three sent death glares at the man. Meet me on the roof. He spoke as he did some hand signs and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto did the same hand signs and disappeared in a flash of light. Sasuke and Sakura just looked at where he was with their mouths hanging open. Sakura's stayed open for so long, a fly flew in and came out of her ear. The roof. Alright, let's introduce ourselves. You know, likes, dislikes, hobbies and dreams, Kakashi spoke leaning against a railing. Why don't you go first, sensei, and show us how it's done? Sakura spoke much to Naruto's annoyance. I thought that giant forehead had a brain under it. Naruto thought, alright, my name is Kakashi Hatake, I have many likes and not many dislikes, my hobbies, I don't feel you should know in my dreams, never put much thought into it. Wow, for a Junin, that was fascinating, Naruto spoke, each of his words dripping with sarcasm. Alright then, you Sunshine can start, Kakashi spoke pointing towards Sasuke. The Uchiha grunted as he began. Sasuke Uchiha, I have nothing I like, and many dislikes. I don't have many hobbies and my dream, more like an ambition, is to kill a certain man. Wow, and I thought he couldn't be any more emo than he already is. Naruto, Sasuke-kun is so cool, Guiz who? Great, I got a Uchiha who isn't right in the head, Kakashi, okay, your turn Pinky. Sakura glared at the nickname but shrugged it off. My name is Sakura Haruno. I like. You readers know she's a Sasuke addict, so I will just skip her. Okay. Great, a fangirl, Kakashi thought, now you blondie. Okay. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are Hina-chan, Kasara-chan, training. My dislikes are stuck-up jerks and fangirls. My dream is to make my dead parents proud of me and become the Hokage. Naruto spoke with pride. Alright me. Tea tomorrow at training ground 77 and don't eat. You will be taking your final genin exam. Kakashi spoke as he began to walk away only to be stopped by Sakura. But I thought we already graduated. Well, you didn't. Just show up, Bekasu, I'm not gonna look for you. Kakashi spoke as he walked away with his nose in his orange book. Sakura turned to Sasuke intent on asking him out, but found him gone. Naruto light shunshined home only to have his face smashed by Kasara's boobs as a welcome home greeting. Why do I have the feeling this will be happening a lot more often than it should, Naruto thought as Kasara kept hugging him. The skies above Konoha were usually undisturbed, but on this night they were. Flying high like a shadowy silhouette against the starry sky was the Fiend, Yubel. The mission she had been given was simple. Kill the young priest while he was still inexperienced so he wouldn't present a threat to Hade. She frowned at the thought of having to kill Kushina's son. He was told she would be granted her freedom if she did this, by Hade, but she did as far as she could throw him. To Yubel, Kushina was a very close friend. During Kushina's reign as a dragon priest, she had established peace throughout the monster realms, making it so everyone, human and monster, could live happily together. The wars were long, but in the end everything turned out alright. Yubel remembered after she had lost her love, Hau, the king of Neo-Space, in his sudden death, she was constantly depressed. She had thought of killing herself once, but that proved fruitless seeing as she was immortal. Poison was also out, since if a substance invaded her body, she would mutate to a higher form and adapt to the poison. Kushina, however, was the one who had brought her out of that depression. She would visit Yubel regularly and make sure she wasn't alone. She would take her on trips to other realms and help Yubel feel alive. Once, however, Yubel got caught up in the excitement and tried to take Kushina to bed with her. But that was crushed when she told Yubel she was straight and already seeing someone. Yubel was quite embarrassed that day. She wasn't a lesbian, but that's how it looked. Yubel herself was straight, but this story is for another time. As she descended towards the boy's house, she noted how careless the security here was. She hovered outside Naruto's window, before phasing through the glass and looking at her prey that lied there in bed. In her opinion, he looked more like Kushina's husband, Minato. She silently walked up to the boy's sleeping form and gently placed her scaled, fiendish hand on his head. He had the same aura as Kushina. She scanned his memories and saw all the horrid abuse the child went through. All the hate-filled stares. All the beatings. All the abuse he took. Yet wouldn't fight back. He must have had the heart of a saint. Yubel suddenly had a revelation. She couldn't kill him. I mean, she could easily strangle him, but emotionally she couldn't. This wasn't good. This meant she couldn't go back to Hade, as she would be locked up in that horrid shock cell again. However, she noted as she scanned his memories, she saw that he had to start a harem. She wondered if she could be a part of it. But would he accept her? Well, no time like the present, she thought as she shook him gently in an attempt to wake him up and ask him Naruto's point of view. Naruto was sleeping pleasantly when suddenly he felt himself being pushed. Naruto shrugged it off as Kasara wanting to sleep with him, but he remembered she had left to speak with 5 Sama about something important. He opened his eyes and turned his head to see a creature that could be described as pretty and scary at the same time. From what he could tell were boobs, he believed it was female. She had 2 different colored skin tones. One was black and the other was a maroon purple. She also had 2 separate hair colors. One was gray while the other was blue. Even her eyes were multicolored. One was a teal green while the other was a faded orange. The one eye on her forehead looked like it had no life as it just sat on her forehead staring at him. And I thought, Sakura had a weird forehead, Naruto thought. Hello. Yubel spoke sweetly to him. Who are you? Naruto asked. You think standing face to face with a full-fledged fiend would scare someone, but being in a meeting with dragons 8 times your size, it kind of prepares you. My name is Yubel and I wish to serve the next great dragon priest as his concubine, she spoke while Naruto's face turned red. Naruto sighed and told the fox to keep things to himself. Am I the only one? Yubel asked. What? Naruto. Am I the only one in your harem? Yubel asked. No, there are 2 others already in it. Naruto spoke in a tone that said I'm not comfortable with this. So I'm the 3rd in the pecking order. Yubel thought. Naruto sighed and knew he wasn't getting back to sleep. Yubel cocked her head to the side in confusion. Is something wrong? She asked innocently. Do you have another form you could take? You know, something more human-like. Does this form not please you? Yubel. It's kind of hard to look at. No offense. Naruto. None taken. Yubel spoke as shadow energy swarmed around her and then dissipated, revealing a young teenage girl with blue hair and greenish-blue eyes. In place of the 3rd eye on her head was a crystal of some sort. Do this form please you? Yubel asked. Did I mention she was completely naked? Yes, but could you please put some clothes on? No, you look great, just put some clothing on. Naruto spoke as he pointed to his closet while trying to stifle a nosebleed. All right, she spoke as she rummaged through his closet and picked out a dark blue t-shirt and a pair of black shorts. She pulled them on. The shirt actually was stretched because of her boob size being bigger than normal. Why me? Naruto asked out loud. Why not? Yubel responded, hugging him. What is it with girls and hugs? Naruto thought to himself. I believe it is a form of affection. Yubel mentally spoke to him. I wasn't being literal. He spoke in his head, not really surprised at how things were turning out. Scene change and time skip by 3 hours. I'm going. Naruto called to Yubel, who had been trying to hug him for the last 3 hours. Can I come? She asked. See you curious about this dimension and its people? No, Yubel-chan, you just remain here until I get back. Naruto spoke as he got dressed in an outfit that consisted of a gray shirt and shorts, his black shin obi sandals and the green Kong Ming cap on his head. The metal slime had taken on the form of a small, silver necklace around his neck. At the training grounds, Naruto had shown up early and was the first one there. He brought his mother's scroll along since Kakashi and his teammates were nowhere to be seen. Naruto had bookmarked the area that was being read and continued reading. This section W, as about what the yin-yang separation jutsu did. The scroll described it as separating your darkness and light and changing them into 2 powerful unearthly forces. If a description used unearthly, that meant it was bound to be good. However, Naruto saw a message marked in bright red kanji. It read, only use this technique as a last resort or if you have to be in 2 places at once. The chakra drain. This jutsu can be fatal to one who is not skilled in chakra control or is not of Uzumaki blood. That made Naruto's head snap to attention and caused him to consider this technique and its limitations. He couldn't believe he was the last Uzumaki and he had to carry on both his mother and father's legacy. Naruto then took out his mother's sheath. I will make you proud, Naruto thought with a fierce determination. The slime repelled as if telling him he would make them proud. Naruto put the sheath away as he rolled up and sealed away his Mothger's scroll as Sasuke walked into the area. Like last chapter, if you like Sasuke, gain a tolerance for bashing. Also the way his name is spelled is on Krupo's smiley face. Hey Dobi, what are you doing here so early? The smug Uchiha asked as he saw the do. B was here before him and tagging along was Sakura, the flat-chest fangirl. Naruto just answered him with a glare. Don't glare at Sasuke-kun like that, yelled the harpy that is Sakura. Naruto glare. D at her when an idea popped into his head. Hey Sakura, what? Why do you idolize Sasuke-tem? This made her stop and think for about 5 minutes. Because he's Sasuke-kun, she replied. It took her 5 minutes to come up with that. Naruto thought as he got up and left the two to read quietly near a stream that flowed through the area. Naruto then heard a voice. Master, who are you? Yubel, I told you to stay out of my head. Master, I'm the metal slime hanging from your neck. Naruto pulled the necklace off of his neck and looked at it. You can talk, only in your mind, master. Okay, what do you want? Naruto asked in his head. May I join you in this test? Of course you can. That is when Kakashi walked into the area after a 2-hour wait. Sorry I'm late, guy found me in. D wouldn't leave me alone till I challenged him to AIAR. Shrieked Sakura. Okay, he really challenged me to a who looks better in a speedo contest, so I had to make clones to get him off my back. Naruto shuddered at the thought since he had met Guy once along with his mini-me, Lee. Naruto shrugged it off and joined his teammates to hear what the test inquired. Alright, the test is you have to get these bells from me before noon. Those that don't get a bell will be tied to a stump and not get any lunch, Kakashi spoke as he secured the bells to waist. Start. Now. Sakura and Sasuke went or the bushes while Naruto stood in front of Kakashi confident. Aren't you going to hide like the others? Kakashi asked. Nope, I'm confident in my abilities. There's a difference between confidence and stupidity. Kakashi countered, making Naruto mad. Well, try one of my original techniques on for size. Naruto spoke, running through fake hand signs, trying to make Kakashi think it was a jutsu. Ready slimy. Ready master. Original technique. Kakashi spoke, wondering what it would be. Oh well, his Sharingan could handle it. Now. Naruto spoke, finishing the signs and slapping his hands tog. Ether and having chakra radiate from them for effect. Priest art. Slime clone mimicry. Slime. Clone. Mimicry. Sakura, Sasuke and Kakashi all thought as the necklace around Naruto's neck fell and met a silver liquid puddle on the forest floor. Kakashi thought as was useless, but that changed as the slime began to bubble, expand and take shape. In under a minute the slime took on a human appearance. Probably something like beast clone mimicry, Kakashi thought as the slime began to become more detailed. Crushing Kakashi's original thought, the slime became taller than Naruto and began to look like himself. The slime clone now stood fully and looked exactly like Kakashi, except it was silver in color. Like looking in a mirror, isn't it? Naruto spoke, proud. Well, that certainly is different. Kakashi spoke as he took out an orange book and the slime clone did the same. Take this seriously, Naruto yelled. You just a genin. What do I have to fear? Kakashi asked lazily. This shadow clone jutsu, Naruto yelled as 2 clones poofed into existence. Wow, 4 against 1. I'm so scared, Kakashi spoke in sarcasm. They're not for fighting. Do it. Naruto spoke to his 2 clones as they both transformed in Demon Wind Shuriken. Kakashi raised an eyebrow as Naruto caught both of the oversized shuriken and threw one to the slime clone. Let's go, Naruto shouted as the Kakashi Me clone ran at Kakashi with amazing speed, forcing the lazy Junin to take this seriously. Kakashi brought out a kunai to block the fully opened shuriken and jumped back to get some distance from the clone, only to be put back on defense as Naruto attacked with his Demon Wind Shuriken from behind. Kakashi recognized this as a pincer maneuver and dived to the side, hoping the two would smack into each other. That was put aside as Naruto moved a slight inch to the right and dodged, smacking into his slime clone, and charged Kakashi again. Kakashi sighed as he disappeared, dodging Naruto's shuriken. Weapon appeared behind Naruto's backside with his fingers in a tora. Seal formation. Now, Naruto yelled and Kakashi realized he forgot about the slime clone. Kakashi turned to see a large blob of silver liquid tackle him to the ground and hold him in place. Now we will be taking those bells, Naruto spoke as he went for them, only to curse as the Kakashi being held poofed away, revealing it to be a shadow clone. I'm sorry, master. The slime spoke as it retook a human form. It wasn't your fault. We'll get that one-eyed broom. Naruto spoke as he climbed a tall tree to scout the area to see where the real Kakashi was hiding. Another area. Sasuke was furious at what he just saw. The Dobi had performed a perfect battle maneuver and even managed to catch Kakashi. "I'll show you Dobi, why. I, the last of the Uchiha clan, am superior," Sasuke spoke out loud, running to search for Kakashi. With Kakashi, I will admit that was a good plan. If only he had done it with one of his teammates. Kakashi spoke sitting under a tree receiving the info he just got from his destroyed clone. Sasuke saw Kakashi near the tree and threw several shuriken at him only for Kakashi to shunshin dodge before they hit. Sasuke ran forward a little and then saw a bell laying on the ground. "This is too easy," Sasuke spoke as he ran to get the bell and then stepped on a rope trap and got pulled up into a tree. "If the bait is obvious then you should rethink your movements." Kakashi spoke as he pocketed the bell. "I won't go down that easily," Sasuke roared as he cut himself from the trap and ran at Kakashi with a swing kick from his left leg. Kakashi blocked. Sasuke tried to work in a right hook but that was blocked as well. He landed on the ground and ran through hand signs. "Ninja art. Sea of fire jutsu," he yelled as he blew a stream of fire at Kakashi, who dodged by going underground, but Sasuke didn't notice that. "Where did he go?" Sasuke fumed at the fact that one of the Uchiha clan fire styles failed. Then Sasuke felt a rumbling and in the next 3 minutes was up to his neck in dirt. "I'll let you take this time to think about what it means to work together." Kakashi spoke as he walked off to go and test Sakura. With Sakura had been hiding in the bushes waiting for her Sasuke-kun to come help her. Fat chance of that happening. Sakura felt something tap her shoulder, then turned to see Kakashi behind her. "Pedophile," she yelled as she pulled out a kunai but didn't have time to use it after fainting from a genjutsu cast by Kakashi, which showed Sasuke in a near-death state. In being a fangirl, she couldn't stand not being without him and fainted. At this time it was noon and the test was over. Naruto sat next to a tree with his slime clone standing next to him. Sasuke and Sakura were tied to sumps. "Why isn't the Dobi tied?" Sasuke asked, mad. "Because Naruto actually did what the test was made for. He used teamwork with his clone to get the bells. If one of you two had helped him, you might have actually gotten them. But Yubel didn't help him at all. Sasuke, your ego is so big that you think the others will just hold you down. Sakura, you could have help. Naruto, but you only focused on Sasuke, who was long gone. And Naruto, while your tactics were what I was looking for, you should have tried it with your teammates." Kakashi spoke, pointing out each of their flaws. "Now Naruto, I will let you decide their fate." Kakashi spoke, giving Naruto the 2 bells. "Your choice, will it become ninja or bedrocked from the program entirely?" Naruto thought hard on this for a minute. "Sure, they pass." Naruto spoke, giving each of them a bell. "Excellent. Naruto, that was what I was hoping you do. Sasuke, Sakura, you two can learn from him. Well, you 3 start ninja missions tomorrow." Kakashi spoke as he untied them both. Naruto just light shunshined back to his apartment only to be confronted by an angry Hinata and a confused Yubel. "Ah crap," Naruto spoke. Trying to think of a way to explain this to Hinata. "Well, that's for this chapter. I will try to get the Zabuza arch done in one go next chapter, so just sit tight." Hinata was feeling a sense of joy and accomplishment. She had just passed her genin test and was now officially a ninja. She wanted to tell Naruto right away, and maybe the 2 of them could go somewhere nice tonight, like a date. Her face grew red at the thought. As soon as her sensei Kurenai gave her the okay, she walked off to Naruto's apartment. Hinata will admit that her team was nice, but Kiba was a bit too friendly in her opinion when he first saw her. His immediate words were, "There's my bitch." Shino had reprimanded him by having several bugs attack and bite him. Shino may have been quiet, but he was very friendly and acknowledged Hinata as his teammate. Kiba, on the other hand, might be a problem. Everyone knows dogs are stubborn and sometimes you have to hit them once or twice before they get the idea. Scene Chong toward Naruto's apartment and will admit she didn't know why she got cold stares every now and then. I mean, it's true, she and Naruto held each other in public once, but the stares she got were just awful. Hinata now stood in front of Naruto's apartment door and knocked twice, hoping he was home. Hinata heard shuffling inside and couldn't wait to tell him she passed. Her aspirations were crushed when the door opened and she saw a teenage girl standing there with blue hair and teal green eyes. She was very slim and had curves most men and flat-chested killers dreamed of. Hinata also noted she was wearing Naruto's clothes and her inner Hinata went off. He's cheating on you. Kill her. The Byakugan user didn't want to think that or have a fight start, so she decided to find out who this girl was, and then kill her if need be. Hello, who are you? The blue-haired girl asked Hinata. My name is Hinata, who are you? Hinata asked, wary of this girl for some reason. My name is Yubel, would you like to come in? Yubel asked sweetly, holding the door open, beckoning the Hyuga Heiress to come in. Hinata walked in and took a seat on the couch while Yubel took a seat on a chair to the left of the couch. There was a brief silence between the two and this made the young Hyuga Heiress paranoid. So do you know when Naruto will be back? Hinata asked, still suspicious of this Yubel person. Quote, I'm not sure, but if he is out past nightfall I will go look for him. The Fiend spoke, wondering where Kushina's son could be. The paranoid side of Hinata got the better of her. Why are you here exactly? The white-eyed girl spoke, asked in a shaky voice. I'm in Naruto-sama's newest concubine and I wish to please him. Was Yubel's response as she stared off dreamily. That one single sentence used Hinata's inner rage and jealousy that everyone has to be let out. Hinata lunged at Yubel, her Byakugan blazing as she tried to seal off Yubel's Tenketsu points using her clan's Juken fighting style. However, upon looking at Yubel with her bloodline, Hinata saw that she didn't have any Tenketsu. All she saw was a form of black and purple energy. Yubel, who didn't understand what was going on thought the Hyuga Heiress was playing with her, so she began to toy with Hinata, simply dodging her strikes with grace and poise humans are not known to have. Hinata had to be careful since this was taking place in Naruto's apartment. Hinata charged with a kunai as she slashed at Yubel vertically. Yubel dodged to the right. Hinata discarded the kunai and tried a Juken palm slam to Yubel's heart. But the Fiend simply grabbed Hinata's forearm and gracefully moved around it. Nothing Hinata tried connected. It was as if she was fighting a piece of grass that bent in the wind of her movements and attacks. Hinata stopped to catch her breath. Are we done playing already? Yubel asked, disappointed since to the Fiend standing before the Hyuga Heiress, this was fun. Hinata gritted her teeth in frustration. Her opponent was very limber and flexible. Then Hinata got an idea. Hey, look over there. Hinata spoke, pointing dramatically at an open window. Who am I kidding? No one would fall for that. Hinata thought in her mind. To her peers, Yubel ran towards the window and looked out. What is it? I wanna see. Yubel spoke like an excited child as she looked for whatever Hinata was pointing at. I can't believe that worked. Hinata thought as she charged the unsuspecting Yubel from behind in an attempt to tackle her up against the wall. The attempt worked but was in vain as Yubel easily used her fiendish strength and pushed Hinata back and turned to her. Ah, do you want a hug? Yubel spoke, walking towards Hinata with arms open. Hinata backed up quickly, tripping over a table and hitting her head on the floor, which due to shockwaves of Hinata hitting the floor caused a vase that Hinata had gotten Naruto for his birthday last year to fall over and break. OWW. Hinata yelped as she held her head in pain. Such a shame. Yubel spoke as she tried to put the vase back together, only for it to fall apart. With Naruto. Dobi, tell me how you control that slime now. Sasuke demanded as he had managed to catch Naruto before he got home. Sasuke will admit that slime clone technique he saw Naruto use against Kakashi was impressive and could be useful in a fight against his brother. Why should I tell you anything, Yatem? Naruto yelled back at Sasuke. Because I'm a Uchiha and it is your duty to tell me. Sasuke countered with a confident smirk. He knew the village. RS in the village worshipped him and would do anything for him. To the last of the Uchiha, Naruto was just another villager. If that's your best reason, then I'm not telling you jack. The priest in training countered, walking off, eager to get home, hoping Kasara didn't show up and fight with Yubel. Also, if he could bring Hinata, Yubel and Kasara together to explain the harem issue, that would be a relief. Every moment of every second, one could find out about the other, there would be a fight and Naruto would have to break it up and give an explanation. If only he knew. What, are you a coward? The Uchiha mocked in hope of using Naruto's short temper to his advantage. Naruto turned with an expression that said, leave me the heck alone. Listen good because, I won't say this again. My techniques are my own and you will never learn them. You hear me? Naruto shouted the last part for effect. The yell of frustration had proven effective, since Sasuke just stood there mouth agape and starry-eyed. Naruto turned and left without another word, seeing as how he believed he had gotten his point across. However, he didn't notice Sasuke repose himself and the Uchiha spoke. The Dobi must be afraid. If I learned his techniques, I would make them better somehow where he couldn't. I swear by my bastard brother, I will learn them. Sasuke spoke in a pose that attracted hordes of fangirls, wanting him to bear their child. I wonder if the Dobi has a technique for something like this. Sasuke asked out loud as he ran from the horde of evil, idolizing females. With Naruto. Naruto had finally gotten home. He walked up to his apartment door and got out his keys and unlocked it. He opened the door to see an angry, irritated Hinata who was sitting on the floor holding her head in. Da confused Yubel trying to put something together out of several broken fragments. Ah crap. Naruto spoke knowing he would have to explain this to Hinata. Naruto, who is this and why is she saying she is your concubine? Hinata asked in a tone that had no emotion. Naruto sat both Hinata and Yubel down on his couch and he sat on the armchair facing the couch. You see, here's the thing. This starts with my mother. Kushina Uzumaki. She was something called a dragon priest. She worked to keep these multiple monster realms in a state of peace. When she died bringing me into the world, the dragon priest slot was emptied out. Since I'm her only known blood relative, this means I have to take her place. Everyone still with me? Naruto asked, wanting to make sure no one was lost. Yubel nodded enthusiastically while Hinata nodded her head slowly. Anyway, a giant 5-headed dragon told me I have to start a harem and have a ton of kids to replenish the dragon priest supply. 'Cause apparently just one priest isn't enough. Naruto spoke, choosing his words cautiously. Well, only those of the priest bloodline can do this. So my hands are pretty much tied on this. I also tried that already. Apparently my type of priest doesn't hold to this rule. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you sooner. Hina-chan. The young priest spoke with his head hung in shame. It's all right, Naruto-kun. Hinata spoke, walking up to him and enveloping the young genin in a hug. She moved her head close to her ear and whispered, just deflower me first and we won't have any problems. The Hyuga Heiress spoke mischievously with a smirk. Yubel in the heat of the moment wrapped her arms around both of them and lifted them into the air. I have a sister. The Fiend squealed happily. What? The blue-haired Hyuga asked in confusion. Hinata is my harem sister. Yubel spoke, putting them down. After being put down, Hinata composed herself. Well, I originally came to tell you, Naruto, that my team passed and I'm officially a genin. Hinata spoke. That's great, Hina-chan. So did I. Naruto spoke, happy that both of them were now officially ninja. No date tonight, Hinata thought. It's awfully late, I must be getting home. Goodbye Naruto-kun, Yubel. Hinata spoke as Naruto walked her out. Hinata, I'll walk you home. Naruto spoke as he went out the door with Hinata. Yubel watched the actions that had just taken place before her. It was obvious this, Hinata, had already claimed Naruto as her own. But that won't stop me from trying though. Yubel thought as she took her fiend form and took to the skies to keep an eye on Naruto in case something might happen to the boy. Out of the corner of Yubel's eye she spotted a masked ninja watching her. She turned to his direction and waved. The ninja jumped and threw a barrage of shuriken at her. Yubel didn't know what shuriken were and they all hit her skin, before sinking in. The masked nin just stood there in shock but then moved as the shuriken that had sunk into Yubel's skin. Out of sight suddenly flew back at him, shooting out of Yubel's skin like a bullet from a pistol. Humans are weird, Yubel said as she turned to keep an eye on Naruto. Back with the masked nin. The nin removed his mask to reveal the face of Sasuke Uchiha. Damn, what was that thing? He asked out loud. Here he had simply come to spy on the Dobi, but instead gets greeted by some strange bat-like, three-eyed demon. That thing must be what was teaching Naruto. I have to convince it to teach me, somehow. Sasuke pondered. Scene change. The walk home for Hinata was uneventful. Naruto and Hinata just talked and chatted. Naruto spoke of the Baka teammates he had been stuck with and Hinata replied about the one Baka she had gotten stuck with. Before they both knew it, they were at the Hyuga mansion front door. Good night Hina-chan, Naruto said as he gave the Hyuga Heiris a hug. Hinata returned the hug. Good night Naru-kun, she spoke as the door was opened by her Aozen Neji and of the branch house, and he sent a glare right at Naruto. Hinata went inside and the door was shut. Why were you out so late Hinata-sama? Neji asked in a bitter voice. I was out having a life Neji. You should try it sometime. Hinata spoke as she went upstairs to her room to turn in for the night. Neji just stood there. Hinata-sama certainly has become more assertive lately since she started seeing that blonde boy. Neji thought as he decided to turn in early. Yubel had held her position watching the exchange between the two while the door was still opened. Perhaps I could use this to my advantage. Yubel asked to herself. If things kept going the way they were, Hinata would end up as clan matriarch and Hinata would have Naruto to herself most of the time, not giving Yubel or anyone else a chance to be with him. Yubel flew quickly to Naruto's apartment and returned to the human form she had before and took a seat on the couch just as blue-eyed boy walked in. Hello, Naruto-sama, Yubel answered. Evening Yubel and good night, Naruto spoke. Naruto will admit it was good to be liked, but Naruto had just met Yubel and wasn't ready to add the chan suffix to her name just yet. Naruto walked and got into a pair of gray sweatpants and a white t-shirt before climbing into bed and shutting off the light and going into dreamland. Out in the living room, Yubel took on her fiendish form and leapt out the kitchen window. The darkened sky above Konoha made it easy for Yubel to fly around freely. The one thing she loved about the human world was the vast expansiveness and size of it all. In the realm of fiends, the skies were cluttered with tall buildings and often at times, she would have to fight with other fiends for airspace. Yubel didn't know it, but she was flying above the Konoha hot springs where a certain white-haired toad sage was doing research. All the same old stuff. Jiraiya muttered to himself disappointedly. He had come back to Konoha hoping to find some new form of creativity since all the other stuff, like harems and Yuri threesomes with guys, had been done to death in all of his old ICHA novels. There was that one idea of his that he had done once. It was a gothic ICHA paradise novel, and when it had hit the public, sales had gone through the roof. The perverted novel was banned in 3 nations. The rake, Age of the Land of Lightning, had to have a blood transfusion from all the nosebleeds he got when he started reading it. Jiraiya had gotten the idea for that novel years ago when he ran into some strange blue-skinned female on his travels. He remembered her well. She had dark blue yet bright skin and her head was bald. She was 6'5" and wore purple armor on her left arm and 2 legs. In her arms was cradled a broken doll that had a cracked head and missing left portion of a torso and legs. This strange female was the inspiration for the demon mistress Necro. When the book had hit the public, in a span of 3 weeks, over 10 million copies had been sold. If only I could find something even close to what the fiendish women looked like. Jiraiya sighed as he put the binoculars he had been using away and sat on his back staring at the sky. However, his eyes almost bugged out of his head at what he saw above him. In the sky was a bat-like woman with 2 different skin tones, hair colors and 3 eyes. Each a different color. To the toad sage, it was as if Kami had given him a fallen angel to use for himself. Jiraiya noticed, however, that the bat woman was flying quickly, so he got out a sketch pad and began to draw furiously. After 2 minutes he had made a rough sketch of the bat woman. Sadly, he didn't have enough time to make details to certain features as she was no longer in the sky. The white-haired pervert cursed as his newfound inspiration had flown away. I will find you, bat women. I know what my eyes saw. Jiraiya shouted to the heavens, alerting the women in the bath area to his presence. Since when did civilian women know the Cage Shuriken Bunshin Jutsu? The pervert asked as he ran for his life and dodged several shuriken that pulled have cut off what made him a man. Scene change. 3 weeks had gone by like a blur and Naruto had been doing nothing but crappy D-rank missions. These missions ranged from cleaning out gutters, chasing down cats. The last mission he was assigned was something that most men feared. Naruto was currently sitting in a tree trying to forget that mission. Flashback. It was a bright and sunny Tuesday morning as Naruto and his team went to get their mission for the day. The Hokage sat at a large table giving out assignments. All right, The only mission available for Team 7 can be considered a AAA rank mission. And I wouldn't give it to you if I didn't think you were ready. The mission is to help a woman give birth, the third said as he took a long draw from the pipe he constantly smoked. Well, I'm sure we can handle this, right guys? Naruto asked as he turned around only to see Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi gone. Old man, I can't do this because... Naruto said as he turned to see the third gone with everyone else. Naruto's eyes darkened as the pamphlet with the mission info he had been given sat there in his hand. F you Kakashi, F you Sasuke, and especially F you Sakura with an acid-covered spike. Naruto shouted to the heavens. If you haven't noticed by now, I extremely dislike Sakura. An hour later Naruto was reading a doctor's manual at the hospital he had gone to do the mission, seeing as how he didn't know a thing about bringing life into the world. Naruto walked in and saw the patient and client who set the mission up in the first place. The woman sat in the bed screaming furiously as she gripped the metal bars of the hospital bed as the baby was coming. Push. Naruto spoke. 3 hours of kicking, punching, screaming later, the baby was finally born. Thank you so much, young man. You're not as bad as people say, and sorry about the black eye. The woman spoke as she patted Naruto, who had a nice shiner on his left eye. Naruto gritted his teeth hard into a strained smile. No problem. End flashback. The blonde demon container took out his wallet while he was still in the tree and began to count the money he had gotten from that mission. He got quite the hefty sum of payment from that, along with a tip from the mother-to-be. Life is good. Naruto yawned as he laid back in the tree to relax. Dobi, fight me. Naruto looked down to see Sasuke standing there wanting to challenge him. Tem's gonna have to learn the hard way, Naruto said under his breath as he leapt down and took a battle stance. Naruto took a stance, as did Sasuke. Both eyed each other, sizing up their abilities and strengths. Sasuke already knew about Naruto's slime servant which hung from the blonde's neck in necklace form. What else are you hiding, Dobi? Sasuke thought as he decided to make the first move. Sasuke flashed through hand signs and took a deep breath. Kaden. Gokaku no Jutsu. The Avenger called out as he blew 3 large balls of fire at Naruto. Naruto stood his ground brow his right arm up as the slime necklace around his neck crawled quickly onto his arm and formed a large shield. The fireballs collided with the shield and exploded, causing smoke to cover the area both Sasuke and Naruto were in. Come on, Dobi, is defense all you can do? Sasuke yelled through the smoke. Naruto kept his cool and went through some hand signs of his own. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto whispered as 2 Narutos came into existence. Sasuke looked around trying to find his blonde target when suddenly his ears picked up running footsteps. The Avenger turned to see Naruto charging at him with a Fuma Shuriken. Sasuke smirked as Naruto closed the distance between the two and dodged the downward swing of the shuriken before following up with a rush and punch to Naruto's head. Sasuke was feeling pretty good. That is until the clone he struck along with the shuriken it was using began to glow before exploding, making Sasuke hit the dirt hard. Got to love Bunshin Daibakua. Also, who would have believed that transformed clones could do that as well? Naruto spoke to himself with a smirk from a tree, knowing the exploding clone technique was good for close-range blow. W-ups and good for knocking overconfident emos on their butts. Sasuke groaned as he sat up, covered in dirt and soot from the explosion he had just endured. Damn, the Dobi's gotten better since the academy. Sasuke huffed as he tried to regain his footing before falling back down. If only I had my Sharingan, then he would be nothing. Sasuke seethed in fury. You know, talking to yourself isn't exactly healthy. Naruto spoke mockingly as he jumped down from the tree he was in, revealing himself. Dobi, I won't lose to you. Sasuke roared as he pulled out several lengths of ninja wire and swung the wire towards Naruto. Naruto jumped and dodged the wire, landing back on his feet. Got you. Sasuke spoke as he made a forceful pull motion backwards and some hidden wires sprang up and constricted Naruto. Now, Kaden. Ruka no Jutsu. Sasuke spoke after flashing through hand seals, sucking in air and blowing, releasing a medium-sized blast of fire in the shape of a dragon. Naruto was bound, so he couldn't do any hand seals to replace himself with a log or something nearby. Naruto closed his eyes and braced himself for the impact when suddenly, a voice began to speak to him. It wasn't the Kyubis and it wasn't Kasara's. Live. Do not let this arrogant child defeat you when you know what it means to have true power. The voice spoke to the young blonde as he felt power well up inside him. This power was warm, hot, even as hot as the flames that were coming at him, if not more. Use the dragon's breath. Unconsciously Naruto drew in breath and blew out, letting loose a blaze of white fire. Naruto's white blaze crashed into Sasuke's and both exploded, causing more smoke to cover the area. Naruto took the time to inch his bound hand to his kunai pouch and got said weapon as he began cutting the wires, freeing himself. Oh come on. The Dobi knows fire jutsu too. What doesn't he know? Sasuke seethed. Sasuke, why are you doing this? Why are you attacking your own teammate? Does killing your brother mean more to you than loyalty or the fact that we are fellow ninja? Naruto asked, trying to defuse the situation. Sasuke looked down and shadowed his eyes in thought. What did he want? Was killing his teammate the only way to become more powerful? He couldn't decide. Sasuke let out a frustrated yell and jumped away, heading back to the Uchiha district. Hopefully he will make the right choice. Naruto spoke as he ran back to his apartment to try and figure out what was up with the new voice in his head. With Sasuke. Sasuke pounded the walls of his house in anger and frustration as the words of his brother rang in his head. You lack hatred. It was those words that turned Sasuke into what he was now. Coupled along with the fact that Itachi had killed both their mother and father and forced Sasuke to relive the horrible experience through the Tsukuyomi. To Sasuke, his battle just now with Naruto proved how weak he believed he was. I hate you, Itachi. Sasuke roared as he punched a wall again, effectively leaving a dent in it. Come to me. A voice spoke to Sasuke. Who's there? Sasuke yelled as he got a kunai out, ready to fight. Come to me. Sasuke didn't have anything better to do, so he began to follow the voice. His following took him all the way to the Uchiha meeting room, which was originally the meeting area for the Uchiha Council. Where are you? Go deeper. The voice came from under a tatami mat. Sasuke pulled the mat up and saw a door. He opened it and peered into the dark abyss. Come. Sasuke followed and found himself in a dark basement hallway. Luckily a lantern was hanging on a nail in the wall. He took it and used it to light the way as he made his way to the end of the hall. He came upon a large metal door, embroidered with the Uchiha clan crest. He opened the door and sitting in the middle of the room was a large brass container. It too was embroidered with the Uchiha clan symbol. Suddenly the top of the cylinder opened and a large orange red flame erupted from it before shifting and changing to look like a face. Hello, it is a pleasure to meet you. The giant flame spoke. Who or what the heck are you? Sasuke spoke as he trembled slightly. This being that blazed before the Avenger was giving off waves of killing intent. My name is Goka, the Pyre of Malice, and I'm as old as the Uchiha clan itself. I was the one who created all the fire jutsu the Uchiha use today. You are Sasuke, are you not? The flame asked as it convulsed. Why yes. Sasuke stuttered. Good. I knew you would find me eventually. You're probably wondering why I'm here. You see, when the Uchiha clan was founded by Uchiha Madara, he was lucky enough to come across my summoning contract. He signed it, summoned me and had me teach him everything I knew till I could teach him no more. When Madara abandoned the clan, your father, Fugaku, found my contract and he made edits to it, forever trapping me on this plane of existence. It infuriated me so. Okay, that explains why you are here, but how do you know who I am? When you were born, your father would always come down here and bitch about how you were a failure and a letdown. Nothing like your brother Itachi. Sasuke seethed at that. In all honesty, however, I see much potential in you. Your anger can easily be converted into malice. That malice can be used to empower you and give you the strength to do things you wish to do, but could never act on because of your weak judgment. Sasuke bowed his head in thought. Doing such a thing could turn him into a power-hungry fool of a juggernaut. On the one hand, he might gain enough power to kill Itachi and regain the Uchiha clan. A second hand, he could lose himself in such power and not control himself. Ah, screw it. If I can kill my bastard brother, what do I have to lose? I'll do it. All right then. I want you to focus on an event that makes you so mad, you'll do anything to take it back. Sasuke recalled the horrible event that happened so long ago. The massacre of his family and clan. Anger started to burn in Sasuke's soul as he recalled it all. Everything that he saw in the Tsukuyomi. Yes, such beautiful anger. I'm going to start the conversion process. Be warned, this will hurt. Goku spoke as fire erupted from the metal container and covered Sasuke in a veil of flame. The fire touched the Avenger's skin and a loud hissing sound could be heard. Ah! Sasuke wailed as he fell to the ground in pain from the process. I told you it would hurt. Scene change. Naruto had made his way home and was greeted to a pleasant sight. Kasara and Yubel were both sitting on the couch, talking peacefully while they were having tea. Kasara-chan, you're back. Naruto spoke, walking up to the dragon and giving her a hug. It's good to see you as well, Naruto-kun. The dragon spoke sweetly as she returned the hug. Naruto took a seat in an armchair. So where have you been all this time? I've been filing out the paperwork for you to become a priest. The last official document was signed today and now you're officially a priest. Kasara explained as she took a sip from a teacup. That's good, but don't I need to sign anything? Nope. As your dragon, I have the right to signing your signature on any document. Yubel sat back and watched the exchange, again. She was beginning to see that in terms of compatibility with the blonde, she wasn't exactly in a good place. Love, passion, feeling of attraction. These were what Yubel wanted from Naruto. Sadly, you can't force yourself on someone. That would only push them farther away. Even though Yubel was naive to basic human customs, she wasn't stupid when it came to love. She had experienced it once and lost it. But it was obvious to Yubel. If the Fiend wanted anything long-term with the boy, she would need to build a bond with him. Something Kasara and Hinata had been doing since as long as they had known Naruto. Poor Fiend. All she wants is some love and acceptance. The Kyuubi had been watching the whole time and will admit, he liked Yubel. She was like him, a powerful being whose appearance made it hard for them. For now he would see back and keep watching and help when necessary. So Naruto-kun, how is the yin-yang separation jutsu coming? Kasara interjected. Well, so far, all it does is split my shadow clones in two. The weird thing is that they are dressed differently. Naruto answered. Have you considered doing the jutsu yourself? Yubel asked. Indeed, Naruto-kun, the effects of the jutsu will only occur when an Uzumaki performs it. Kasara spoke. Naruto slapped a palm to his forehead. How could I forget that? Thanks, Yubel, Naruto said as he got the scroll that contained the instructions for the jutsu out. Yubel blushed at the appreciation. Okay, here goes. Naruto spoke as he set the scroll up and began flashing through seals for it. As Naruto ended on the final seal, he yelled out, Yin-yang separation jutsu. A circle of blue energy began to spiral around Naruto, engulfing him in a cylinder of chakra. Yubel and Kasara watched in fascination. As the swirls kept swirling Naruto, a rip was heard and a white line began to go down the middle of the blue light circle. The cylinder split itself in two before dissipating and revealing two figures. About time, the brat figured out how to do the separation. One of the two figures spoke. He was a tall being. He had to be at least 6'5" in height. He had long blonde hair, done up in a ponytail most samurai were known to have. His eyes were a darkened brown and had a hardened look to them. That just screamed badass. His clothing consisted of black monk robes, held together by a set of chains covered in red runes of some sort. The first set of chains went around his waist like a belt and the second set went diagonally, to the right, across his chest. Over the area where his heart should be was a large metal trinket attached to the chain. A kanji was ensibbed on it for darkness. On his feet were a pair of samurai sandals. Hanging from his back was a cleaver-like katana. Hanging from his left hip was another sword sheath, only the blade in the sheath was more designed like a samurai blade. His arms were adorned with red metal gauntles, that had chains running up to shoulder guards that were black. One shoulder guard on the left was cracked, and looked like it was missing a piece to it. On his forehead sat a golden plate with the kanji for yin. Indeed, you're not the best of company to be around for extended periods of time. The second figure spoke. Unlike the other, his voice was manly, yet at the same time feminine. He wasn't very tall. His height ranged to 5'3". His attire was also unique. He wore long flowing white robes that a priest would wear, but they were shortened to allow easier movement. On his back sat a long monk spade, at least 12 feet. The staff part of the spade was golden brown and the blade of the spade was blue with a scale-like design on its edges. His hair was vacant, showing he was bald. His eyes were green with orange irises. A strange, creepy, overly happy smile was on his face. On his feet were a pair of wooden samurai clog sandals. In the middle of the man's chest was a metal trinket similar to the first man's, except it had the kanji for light. Hida had a plate on his forehead, only it was silver and had the kanji for yang on it. Kasara and Yubel both stared amazed at the two beings that stood in place of Naruto. "Who are you two?" Yubel asked. The dark samurai monk looked at the fiend before snorting. "Were they? You know what, I don't feel like giving this explanation." "Oh my god, you are such a tease," the lighter half remarked. "You know how gay you sound when you say that. You know I'm straight. Sometimes I wonder." An irritation tick mark formed on Yubel's head, as did Kasara's. "Who the hell are you two and what happened to Naruto?" Both of the two turned to the fuming Yubel. "Well, since Mr. No Personality over here won't explain, I will. We are the result of the yin-yang separation jutsu. The technique splits a person's light and darkness in half and changes them into two beings of great power. I am Hikagaru and Mr. Dark over there is Shikagaru." Yubel will admit she could feel the power these two radiated. It rolled off the both of them in waves that only monsters could detect. The only downside to this jutsu is it takes a lot of CHKAR to use. "We'll be going in a few minutes." Shikagaru spoke in an uncaring voice. "You both won't stick around?" Kasara asked. "Nope. This was just for demonstration purposes. Anything long-term and then we'll stick around." "OMG. He spoke so much. Their world must be coming to an end." Hikagaru spoke in a dramatic voice. "You know what? Screw you, gay boy." Shikagaru retorted. "I'm not gay." "Sure, keep telling yourself that." Both beings flashed and disappeared and a drained Naruto laid there unconscious. "I think it's time for Naruto-kun to go to bed. Care to join us, Yubel-chan?" Kasara spoke, picking up the blonde and taking him to his room. "Naruto-sama told me he wasn't ready to share a bed with anyone yet." Yubel retorted. Kasara gained a frightened face. "We're not going to in his sleep, you silly fiend. Just keep his body warm with our contact." Alright." Yubel spoke unsure. However, Yubel was sensing a power spike somewhere in the Hidden Leaf Village. Back at the Uchiha district, the malice conversion was finished and Sasuke laid on the floor of the basement covered in white ashes, making Hi's skin seem even more pale than it once was. The Avengers' eyes had changed. They were red now with a black tomo. Sasuke had unlocked his level 1 Sharingan. "It's finished. Your anger and rage are now pure malice." Goku spoke from his container with a satisfied sniffle. "I feel like I could take on the world." Sasuke spoke as he stood up. "Don't confuse feeling with power. You may feel stronger, but you need to train to unlock your full potential. Get some sleep, you need to wait for the malice to synchronize with your chakra." Goku spoke as it inched its way into its container. Sasuke nodded and left the cellar to go to sleep. Back with Naruto. Naruto slept peacefully, feeling really good. As he stirred, a lovely scent hit his nostrils. He moved his head till it was touching something soft and he breathed deeply. Some giggling was heard and Naruto snuggled into whatever he was smelling. Naruto's eyes slowly opened and he saw he was snuggling into a black t-shirt. He looked around and saw Yubel's blushing face smiling down at him with loving eyes. The jewel on her forehead glowed. "Good morning, Naruto-sama." "Good morning, Yubel-chan. Just 5 more minutes." Naruto spoke WSILY as he closed his eyes and snuggled up next to Yubel. "Take as much time as you need." Yubel responded as she wrapped her arms around him and held him close. 5 minutes later, Naruto woke up and got out of bed like it was no big deal. He went towards the bathroom to perform his usual rituals and locked the door, to make sure there were no unannounced intrusions. Is it wrong for a 12-year-old boy to feel comfortable waking up in a beautiful woman's arms? Naruto asked himself. Probably not. After finishing and getting dressed, he began cooking some ramen enough for 3 servings. Naruto did this since Yubel and Kasara, who had slept on the couch for some reason, might be hungry and want breakfast. He looked and saw the ramen was ready. Breakfast, he called. Kasara walked into the kitchen dressed in a long white t-shirt and was wearing short shorts. Yubel walked in dressed in a black tee and black shorts. They both took seats at the table as Naruto served them bowls of ramen and joined them at the table. Naruto and Kasara broke their chopsticks and began to eat. Yubel on the other hand didn't know how to eat ramen. Naruto had finished his bowl already and saw Yubel staring at the bowl like she was trying to defuse a puzzle bomb with her mind. Yubel, what's wrong? I have never eaten this type of food before, how do you go about consuming it? Here, let me show you. Naruto spoke, moving his chair to Yubel's side. First you break the chopsticks, like so. Next you grab as many noodles as you can with a firm grip and then eat. Naruto spoke, moving the load of noodles towards Yubel's mouth. Say ah. Yubel opened her mouth and allowed herself to be fed by Naruto. Kasara smiled at the sight. Yubel was like a lost little girl and Naruto was the caring teacher, to show her the way. Naruto had a kind smile on his face, and Yubel had a blush on hers. It was one of those Kodak moments you want to capture with a disposable camera. The atmosphere was ruined when a knock resounded at the door. I'll get it, Naruto spoke as he left the table to answer the door. Yubel pouted. I was enjoying that. Naruto opened the door slightly. On standing there was a white-haired man, dressed in green and red robes. He had a metal plate on his head and red marks on his cheeks. It was Jiraiya. Jiraiya grinned his usual pervert grin as he stared down at Naruto. Hey kid, listen, I have been going door to door, asking people if they've seen a demon. I have a sketch to help you get a better picture. The old toad sage explained as he pulled out a sketch pad and flipped to the quick picture of Yubel he had made when he saw her and show Naruto. The Kyuubi boy is probably sensitive to demon presence, so I'm sure he has seen her. Jiraiya thought as he began thinking of poses Yubel would do for his book once he found her. Naruto on the other hand had a fish out of water look on his face. That rough sketch is Yubel's fiend form. Holy crap. Nope, I haven't seen a demon. Nope, none around here. The only one I know about is the one sealed in my gut. Gotta go. Naruto spoke hastily as he slammed the door in the pervert's face. Well, that was rude. Jiraiya spoke, walking 5 steps before stopping and turning on his heel. How the heck does the brat know about the Kyuubi? He's hiding something. Inside Naruto's apartment. Yubel. Naruto roared. What is wrong, Naruto-sama? Yubel asked, scared. She will admit he definitely had Kushina's anger. Some pervert came to the door asking if I had seen a demon. He showed me a rough sketch that looked a lot like you without your human disguise. Care to explain? Naruto spoke through gritted teeth as his foot tapped on the floor, waiting for an explanation. I did go flying one night. It was dark out. I thought no one would see me. Yubel spoke honestly. You're in a ninja village. I'm surprised that a demon attack wasn't called. If one had been called, do you realize what might have happened? All of Konoha's military force would have been your butt, until you were killed. Yubel's eyes widened and tears began to form. I'm sorry, Naruto-sama. Sorry wouldn't have saved you if something happened. I may be a dragon priest, but I'm just one kid. I can't defend you from an entire ninja village. Just be more careful. I'm sorry I raised my voice. Naruto spoke as he wrapped Yubel in a hug to help comfort the crying fiend. Kasara smiled at the sight. Naruto-kun is acting just as a dragon priest should, looking out for the best interests in his subjects. Kasara spoke to herself. And you? Naruto's voice rang at Kasara as he still held Yubel. You've been here way longer than Yubel. You're supposed to be the watchful, big sister that looks out for her. Naruto accused. Kasara hung her head. He was right. Naruto broke the hug from Yubel and got his slime servant necklace from his room. I have to go do missions today. I don't want either of you to leave this room. Understand? Both Kasara and Yubel nodded their head. Good. Naruto spoke as he left and locked the door. I think we made Naruto-sama mad. Yubel spoke, taking the dishes and putting them in the sink. Nah, he's just worried about our safety. Kasara assured Yubel. Outside Naruto's kitchen window, Jiraiya had watched and heard everything. That brat has 2 hotties living under his roof. Maybe if I offer to make him my apprentice he'll let me have some alone time with those two. With Naruto. After waiting in the horrid company of Sakura, Sasuke finally showed up. Dude, go to a tanning place. Your skin is too pale. Was Naruto's reaction to Sasuke's new look. Shut up Naruto baka. Sasuke is even better now. Before a fight could break out, Kakashi appeared. Well guys, let's go get our missions for today. At the mission distribution place. Okay, your missions for today range from babysitting, cleaning gutters and... No, everyone was shocked that it was Sasuke who had done the outburst. What I mean Hokage-sama is that can't you give us a higher level mission? Sasuke asked, regaining his calm, cool, emo, Avenger attitude. If I did that, Iruka would have yelled at me for it. Naruto thought to himself, well, there is one mission that involves protecting a bridge builder from bandits. The third spoke as he smoked his pipe. We'll take it. This time the outburst was from Sakura. In Sakura's mind, yeah, with this mission, I'll show Sasuke-kun how awesome I am and then he'll want to go out with me. If only Sakura was half of what her inner person portrayed her to be. Alright then, it's settled. Come in Tazuna. The third yelled, and on and stumbled a drunken man that smelled of whiskey and dirt. These are the ninja you hired to protect me. They look like shit. Don't worry, I'm a Jonin and all will be on this mission. Kakashi spoke while reading his orange porn. Tazuna turned and looked at Kakashi. You look like shit too. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.